All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, listen, doing something a little different this morning because I don't want to delay anymore. I want to start the show promptly at 8 a.m. or as close to, but still running into a few technical difficulties morning. We'll iron things out. So I'm running things a little bit differently this morning. So it might sound just a little bit differently, but I want to make sure that you can see and hear the show with no hiccups. A lot of things to discuss this morning, but before I run down the topics that I've selected to discuss this morning, I want you to take a second and to like and in particular share this show. Sharing the show means everything. It allows the show to get more visibility on Facebook and wherever else you might share. So good morning to you. To my audio choppers, to my Spreaker family, I will not be running the show on Spreaker this morning. Again, some more minor hiccups that I'll iron out in the days that follow. But the show will be exclusively a live stream show today on Facebook and also on YouTube. So heads up to my Chopper family. We're all going to be one big Facebook family and or YouTube family this morning. Since I'm bringing up YouTube, I want you to take a second to go over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel, Nathan Ivey. I got big plans for that channel and much more to come in the near future. But help me reach my first milestone, which is 1,000 subscribers, so I can monetize my channel. Good morning to you. And with no further ado, let's get the show started. Tracy Wright sounds better. Listen, it sounded a lot better, don't it? A whole lot better. And you know what's so funny? Well, I won't get into the details of it. But good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the show. There it is. Welcome back to my home studio. You're a guest in the Ivey household today, and you're more than welcome to be here. Let me put my number up on the screen because sometimes I forget, and I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that you have all of the necessary ways that you can interact with the show this morning. 513-873-7134. We also can do, we can do a Zoom kind of situation as well, where I can put you up on the screen and everybody can see and hear you. And I'll put a link in the description for people that might want to call in via Zoom, so to speak, even though I'm not using Zoom. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts this morning. Again, my name is Nathan Ivey. On today's show, let me put this back on the screen. On today's show, I want to talk about numerous things. But this is a very, very important show this morning. This might be one of the most important shows I've done in a very long time. This is a very important show because this morning I want to put on my Uncle Nate hat. Okay? As an older black man looking back, I feel as if there's a lot of younger black men that just either didn't have a man in the household growing up, or they don't really have a male role model. So I'll be your role model this morning. It's very important that you share this show with teenagers and young adults because I might be able to save you this morning. Quite frankly, I might be able to save you a lot of heartbreak this morning. Have you seen this viral video? You may or may not have seen it. It hit my radar screen. It's kind of stuck with me. And this is a screenshot of it. But in the video, you can see this young man, and he gives his girlfriend a promise ring before she goes to college. How many people have ever either been given a promise ring or you gave someone a promise ring? But in my opinion, this is not love. I'll play the video for you here in a second. And I want to break down the many problems with it this morning. I want to get to that. This might be the most important show I've ever done, quite honestly. I'm going to save somebody's heart this morning if they listen to the advice that I'm going to give to them in just a couple of minutes. Very, very important. And in the video, you can hear what sounds like, mom or somebody like mom and sister in the background. And they are encouraging the situation. I first saw this video on World Star. You can check it out right now. I'm going to play a clip for you here in just a second so you know what's going on and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is very, very important. Again, this might be the most important show I've ever done. No less than that. No less than that. And, it's so interesting because, I'm in my 40s now, but I remember being 18. I remember going away to college. I had a girlfriend that went away to college. I had girlfriends in college. I did all of this. So I think that I am uniquely positioned to share some advice for this young man or perhaps any young man or young person, young adult out there who might find themselves in a very similar situation. Okay. I'm actually talking to the webcam. This microphone is not on this morning, but I'm just so used to it. And I think visually it just kind of makes sense. So I want to share that with you. Also, the RNC. We got to talk about that Nick Sandman. Remember that? And this is a very confusing story. It really is. I mean, he ended up getting in the bag after suing some big media companies because they distorted the coverage of an incident that had took place in Washington. Nick Sandman went to Covington Catholic, which is, 10-15 minutes from where I'm broadcasting from right now in Kentucky. I want to talk about that. Also, Ice Cube called out the Democrat Party right after the DNC closed last week, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I want to go over it again and sort of amplify some of the things he said, analyze, break it down, and discuss with you this morning. Again, if you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. Listen, I want to play this for you. I want to play this video for you. I think it's very, very important that I do so. All right. I want to play this video for you, and then I want to get your opinion about it. Okay. Let me play this for you. Let's roll tape on this. Okay. And before we start, there is extreme language in this. There's a little bit of language. Okay. Just so I know, I hear from parents all the time who are with their children. I am concerned. I have children myself. So I'll put up a little warning. There is a little bit of explicit language in this. I want to give you a heads up. So if you're at work or you got kids, you can turn it down. It's not a lot. It's not from them. But I want you to play this. I'm going to play this, and then I want to give you some flows, and I want to get your thoughts about it as well. And here's a scenario, apparently, from the video. Apparently, the young girl on the right is on her way to college. Okay? And that's her long-term boyfriend or boyfriend, not sure what the term is. And he gives her a promise ring as she decides to go to college. Roll tape on that.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Don't even worry about how you looking. None of that. Go ahead, baby. Oh, for the cry. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. He don't want to be with nobody else but you, baby.
Be quiet, man.
Okay, I'm trying to start him off. Shit.
But you.
You gonna be faithful?
Oh, yes. We're not gonna break us up. And it's just.
Look at my eyes, baby. That's true.
Just the promise ring.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how this looks. Wait, where is you got a middle finger?
No, right here.
Promise ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that I want to get your reaction to that. Can you hear mom? It sounds like mom and auntie's in the background. She's like, he don't want to be with nobody else, baby. He gonna be faithful. You hear that? I'm gonna roll this one more time because I think it's very, very important that you get all the nuances in this, and then I want to get your thoughts about it. I want to get your thoughts about it this morning. All right, this is the most important show I've ever done, but I want to get your thoughts about this morning. Okay, what do you think about what you're seeing right here? Okay, what do you think about what the so-called adults are saying and doing in this moment? And then I want to give you some thoughts. I want us to do it one more time. Let's roll tape on that. I want to give it to you one more time. Here we go.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Don't even worry about how you looking. None of that. Go ahead, baby. Oh, for the cry.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh. He don't want to be with nobody else but you, baby.
Be quiet, man.
Okay, I'm trying to start him off. Shit.
But you.
You gonna be faithful?
Oh, yes. We're not gonna break us up. And it's just.
Look at my eyes, baby. That's true.
The promise ring.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how this looks. Wait, where is you got a middle finger?
No, right here.
Promise ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you squeezed her so tight. Give her a big old squeeze. Now, obviously, this is puppy love. She's on her way to college, so what is she? 17, 18. She's 19, right? 17, 18, 19. How many, raise your hand if you can remember being 17, 18, 19 and being in love. Did you have a girlfriend when you were 17? Did you have a boyfriend when you were 17, 18? How many people remember experiencing a similar circumstance, like you were dating someone and then either they went off to college or you went off to college and you had that moment where you said goodbye, you helped her move her stuff or put her stuff into the back seat of her mama's car, her father's car. And speaking of father, where's his dad at? Where's the dad? I don't hear no men voices, which I think is part of the problem. I want to talk with you this morning about it. 513-873-7134. People are saying it sounds great. Great. Glad to hear that. But what do you think? Do you think that that's a positive interaction that you just viewed? In particular to men out there, if that was your son, what advice would you give him in a situation like that? Ladies, if that was your daughter and or your son, what advice would you give in a situation like that? I thought it was quite interesting that you don't hear any male voices. So there's no men around. And I'm thinking, where's this dad working? Where's her father at? Where are the men in the family? Because I think that there were some men in that circumstances, they would have gave some slightly different advice. So let me take this from the top. 1, you're not married until you're married. It confounds me that human beings want to play with commitment without really being committed. You're not married until you say I do before the eyes of God, your friends and your family. That's when you're married. Everything up to that is nothing more than a promise. Even when you engage is nothing more than a promise. It just amazes me that people like to play with commitment. You ever see that? And these are young people. 18? You 18? I'm going to go ahead and tell you, family, and give it to you blunt. That is not love. That's not love. Because when you love somebody, you don't try to emotionally entangle them and set up unrealistic expectations before they're about to go on to something new in their life. This young girl is about to go on to a college campus. And this young boy decides, I guess he's in his feelings. He wants to try to make sure she don't sleep with somebody else. That's what it comes down to. So he wants to try to put a ring on her finger as if that's going to stop it. It's not going to stop it, B. I'm sorry. I'm here to tell you. Memo from Uncle Nate to you. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to stop whatever she's going to do. Period. Across the board. You might as well detach your feelings from it from the jump. All you're going to do is set yourself up for heartache and unrealistic expectations. That's all you're going to do. Tell me I'm wrong. She's going to get to that college campus and they're going to call, what's that called, fresh meat? I'm keeping it real with you. She's going to get to the college campus and start meeting all kinds of new people. She's going to meet the football players. We already know what the football players do on the college campuses. She's going to meet all the new interesting people she's never met before. And you think that she's going to remember your promise ring you gave her in the driveway. And how much is a Gucci promise ring anyway? Let me look this up. They make Gucci promise rings? Shame on Gucci for that. Here it is. Gucci trademark heart ring, $200. You could save that money, bro. You need that $200. Here's another one, $755 for a Gucci Icon 18 karat ring. He looks like a younger dude. I don't know if he's got $750, but let's say you spend $200. That's a bad $200. You might as well put that money, put it into some stocks, invest it, because there's nothing you're going to do that's going to stop somebody else from doing what they want to do. Especially if you're not married and they're 18. It's a waste of time and investment. That young man, where is his father at? I am disappointed. If his father should told him, like, look, B, let her go. You worry about you. If y'all hook up sometime in the near future, cool. But at 18, you got more important things to be worrying about than trying to follow around some girl on a college campus. Do you know how impossible that is? I'm just telling you. And it says nothing about the virtuousness of the young lady. I'm sure she's in the church and she's a virgin and she's virtuous and she loves Jesus. I'm sure all that's true. But she's human. She's human. And all this young boy did, in my opinion, is set up an unrealistic expectation where she's going to feel guilted because of things that she's naturally should be feeling anyway. When you 18, 19, you shouldn't be all locked down in no long-term damn relationship. You should be into you and dating many people. I didn't say sleeping with, but dating many people, going on dates, finding out what kind of personalities you mesh well with, learning different individuals, not locked down because some dude gave you a $200 promise ring. That ain't love. That's insecurity, straight up. I mean, I was in that same situation. I had a girlfriend. I was 18, and she went away to college. I mean, she didn't go far. She went to the University of Cincinnati. But I was always a different dude. I always had a different mentality. I remember telling my girlfriend, like, look, probably because I was doing my own thing. I mean, I wasn't faithful. I was 18. What you expect? Come on now. And I remember telling her, like, look, you're going to be on college campus. You're going to be meeting all kind of people. Keep it real with me, homie. If you decide you want to date somebody, you want to hook up with somebody, keep it 100, right? Because I was very realistic, you know, going into these different situations. And some of you know the story. Football player. It is what it is. So when I saw this, I thought, wait a minute. Why are they promoting this? What the hell is wrong with, is that his mama? Why are they doing this? All they did was set up an unrealistic expectation that neither one of them are probably going to meet. In the video, I played it for you twice. You can clearly hear what appears to be mama saying, oh, he don't want to be with nobody else. He's 18. Of course he does. As soon as he goes out and meets somebody else and they exchange phone numbers, he's going to be talking to somebody else. She's 17, 18, 19. That's what you do. That's what you should be doing when you're 17, 18, and 19. Rather than being locked down in some long-term relationship. I mean, it's just completely unfair and unrealistic. When you love somebody, you don't put unrealistic expectations on them because of your insecurities. I'll say it again. When you love somebody, you don't put unrealistic expectations on them because of your insecurities, right? And again, I was 18 once. I know what that young dude is thinking. He's thinking, oh, I'm gonna put this Gucci ring on her. Oh, it's Gucci. That means something. Oh, yeah. It's a step above just being boyfriend and girlfriend. No, it's not. It's exactly the same. It's all the same. With a Gucci, a promise ring? We talking about a promise ring. It's laughable. I wish I was his uncle. I would have swooped in with my Uncle Ned cape on and put an end to this nonsense and told him face to face what I'm telling you now. And for folks who out there who know I have a son, yeah, damn right, I'm going to tell my son the same thing. At 18, I mean, yeah, you're going to have shorties. You're going to have friends, but that's all they are. Don't get too caught up in one person. And you 18, you don't even know yourself, let alone trying to figure out somebody else. People come into your life and they leave. And that's okay. Every relationship doesn't end with a ring. Every relationship. I wrote a piece about that on my blog many, many years ago, back before LeBron James had won a championship, and I was weaving in my flows about sports and also relationships. Every relationship don't end with a ring. Some of them are, we just kick it. We just watch Netflix. We just have a good time and we just cool. And that's just it. I don't know. That's what I see, family. I'm very curious as to what you think and what you see. To me, it's quite obvious. That's a recipe for disaster right there. That's a recipe for disaster. Any of you single females raising males, pay attention to what I'm telling you. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. You'll save your son a lot of heartache. That is a recipe for disaster. That's all that is. I'm about to go away to college. You want to try to nail me down? That's insecurity. That ain't love. That's insecure. He don't want to be with nobody else. Tell her you're going to be faithful. Why would you be faithful to somebody you're not married to? Somebody explain that to me. Why would you be faithful to someone that you're not married to? Why? I don't get it. Stop playing games with commitment. Real commitment don't look like that. Real commitment, as I said again, you stand before God. Your family's there, right? Your friends are there, right? The woman you love is there. Y'all look in each other's eyes. You make a legal commitment, a spiritual commitment. That's commitment. Everything else is you just playing games. You just playing at it. Stop playing. And save the children, man. That young boy's heart's going to get crushed. As soon as I don't know what campus she going to, but as soon as she get there, she going to meet a football player. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Tell me I'm wrong. 513-873-7134. I'm very curious as to what you think this morning. Again, today's show is not on Spreaker. It has some difficulties with the audio, and I didn't want to just keep going back and forth with it. I'll iron it out in the future. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Facebook this morning. Good morning to you. I'm not happy about it because I know that's my the core of my audience is right there. Let me see here. Let me go to your chat this morning. FG's in the house. Hey, good morning, FG. Always good to see you. You know that. Tracy writes, sounds better than Spreaker usually does. Well, thank you for that, Tracy. Appreciate you. We see. Gianna writes, sounds great. Saran writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning, everybody. Alicia writes, happy hump day, Choppers. Adele writes, Nate, stay strong, bro. Oh, absolutely, man. Stay strong. Absolutely. Hey, Corinne's in the house. We talked to her yesterday. She writes, good morning, y'all. Hey, good to see you, Corinne. Tracy writes, hi, Clyde. Oops, I didn't see Clyde in here. We see Anthony writes, morning, Chop Shop. EY Nikki writes, good morning to you. Pam's in the house. Good morning to you, Pam. She writes, good morning, all. Doing big things. We got to catch up with that interview. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Ron D writes, what's up, y'all? Good morning to you. Dill writes, Ice Cube is full of ish. Really? You think Ice Cube full of ish? So Ice Cube, this is just a few days, well, a day after the Democrat National Convention ended. He posted a video in which he called out the Democrat Party. He basically said, you know, what's in it for the black community? After watching the DNC throughout the entire week, his response was, what's in it for the black community? And I have no problem. In fact, I like the fact that he is speaking specifically about the black community. Why not? I had no problem with it whatsoever. And he also criticized them, saying that no one talked about a contract with Black America. You know, he has created a black agenda, and he's trying to get more and more attention about it. And in particular, he wants the politicians, the legislators, the decision makers to know about it as well. But I'll give you an update on that in just a second. We'll get to it. Anthony writes, Tracy's cracking up. Anthony writes, ICE is right. DNC needs to start showing us some tangible changes for our support. We've been riding with them for a while. Just throwing us a bone crap is really getting old. 100%. Well, look at Trump. Trump is 100% about the people that support him, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it contradicts conventional wisdom. That's what he does. So black voters are looking at the Democrat Party thinking the same thing. I have no problem with that. I think that's fair. 100%. Trump rides for his base, and even when it flies in the face of conventional wisdom, even when he's going against the grain, even when it's difficult and people telling me he shouldn't be doing it or it's the wrong thing to do, he does it anyway. He offers up the red meat for his base. Now, black female voters in the black community in particular are the strongest and most reliable base of the Democrat Party. Why aren't they doing the same thing for us? That's fair. Wanda writes, good morning. Tracy writes, yeah, I thought my boyfriend was going to be faithful too when he went away. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. That is an unrealistic expectation. But you know, right now we're talking about puppy love, because that's what this is. You 18, 19. I remember the emotions feel so strong. It feels so real. You in love. You ever had your heart broken at a young age? I have. It feels like you can't even breathe, right? Looking back is ridiculous, right? It's preposterous looking back. But in that moment, it feels so real. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning because you ain't got your boo. Tell you just how it T.I. is without playing games. I hope that young boy has a father in his life, man, because the females, they ain't getting it. Oh, look into her eyes, baby. Huh? Oh, he don't want to be with nobody else. He's 18, of course he does. He just don't want her to be with anybody else. See, that's that game. See, that's what I'm keeping my daughter to right now. Don't let these dudes try to persuade you because they love you. You take it for what it is. Enjoy it while it lasts. And when it's over, I'll move the hell on. As simple as that. With your head up and your gaze is firmly on your goals. At 18, your goal should be, you're going to date, mate, and relate, and you're going to do all that. You should do it responsibly and condoms and all that kind of stuff. You're going to do all of that, right? But your number one goal should not be to get married and or to be in some long-term relationship. Your number one goal should be on you. You. Again, please share this video with teenagers, young adults, anybody who you think might get something out of it. I got my Uncle Nate hat on tonight. On this morning. I got to share with the younger generation. Because this is some of the most preposterous stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been through all of this. I had girlfriends in college. Yeah, did all of that. Oh, we in relationship? Yeah, sure we are until I leave. Until she's not around. And like I told you, I wasn't faithful in my early relationships. I wasn't lying about it. I mean, back then I told a few not truths. But looking back, I mean, I was 19. What I look like being faithful? I had a main girlfriend. That was my main girlfriend. And I had friends on the side. What you want from me? I'm 19. I'm 20. I'm 21. That's what you're supposed to do. Keep it 100. That's what you're supposed to do. Run around here trying to be faithful. What I look like? Wasting my younger years? Not me. You can. Investing your emotion in the heart of an 18-year-old young woman is an exercise in getting your heart completely ripped to shreds. That's what you're setting it up. I'm going to play this one more time for you, for the folks who might be like, what's he talking about? I know some folks are just coming in. I want you to see this video. This video, I guess, has gone viral, if you want to say that at this point. Let me put it up on the screen here so you can see it for yourself. I'm on World Stars, you can tell. Let's check this out.
Go ahead. Don't even worry about how you looking. None of that. Go ahead, baby. Oh, Father God. Oh.
Did she say Father God?
Yeah.
Oh. He don't want to be with nobody else but you, baby. Be quiet, man. Okay, I'm trying to start him off. Shit.
But you.
You gonna be faithful?
Oh, yes. You're not gonna break us up. And it's just.
Look at my eyes, baby. That's true.
Just the promise ring.
Take that money and invest it.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how this motherfucker goes. Wait, where is it? Got a middle finger?
No, right here.
Promise ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some hot water. Oh, they in love. Oh, that's so beautiful. Please stop. Where are the men folk at? Where are the men folk? Again, this might be the most important show I've ever done, quite honestly. This is a message that needs to get out. Where are the men folk? Setting this young boy up for absolute failure. That's all they're doing. You got $200, save that. Go buy yourself some kicks. Really take that $200 and invest it. Put it in a little get you. I mean, they got like all these Robinhood. They got all these apps out here. You can buy pieces of stock or just straight on the app. Go spend your money that way. In the long run, it's going to be much more an investment. Because that promise ring is not going to stop her from giving some young dude her number. It's not going to stop her from going over to his dorm room, or he comes over to her dorm room. It's not going to stop her. It's not going to stop her from going out to the parties. As soon as she sees the Kappa's party walk, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. As soon as she see the Qs do what they do, party walking, it's a wrap. As soon as she meet the Alphas, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, well, he gonna be faithful. Be faithful to yourself at 18, 19, 20. Now, you got plenty of time to get married and be faithful. Trust me, you got plenty, if you live long enough. You got plenty of time for that. 18, 19, that's building this. Building this and having fun. That's it. Adele writes, unrealistic expectations. Tracy writes, yeah, I thought my boyfriend was going to be faithful too when he went away. We all do. Except for me. Like, I had a girlfriend. We were dating like 2 years before. We were 2 years. And again, I was never faithful. Let me be honest with you. I was that dude. I was faithful in the sense that I was good to her. But I wasn't faithful in the sense that I wasn't seeing other people. I was seeing other people. So it's that great double standard. You know, it's a lot of men that want that. You want to have your cake and eat it too. I was no different. I wanted to have my main girlfriend. She fit the profile. She checked all the boxes, right? You know, I could sport her wherever. You know what I'm saying? We had a good time together. And then when we weren't together, I had my other friends. And we did other things together. Right. You did the same thing, right? Cool. Some of y'all doing it right now. You might be doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? And again, we dated for 2 years. I'll never forget it because I could see the writing for the wall. I'm pragmatic about things. I don't like to lie to myself. I like to keep it real with myself. I remember telling her, like, look, you're going to meet a lot of dudes on campus. Dudes from all over the world. Okay? If and when you decide you want to hook up with somebody, just keep it real with me because I value realness over everything else. You can keep it real with me, 100%. You can give me good news. You can give me bad news. I respect people that keep it 100 with me. Okay? Whether it's good news or bad news. Because then I can make a decision as to what I want to do. I respect that. And that's how I'm going to give it as well. Don't you respect that? Okay, then. And, no, I would never do that. She said, I never forget it. Oh, you know, she took it like I was saying she was a hoe or something. No, I'm just being realistic. You're human. You're human. Humans do these things. It is what it is. And we dated. I think we was together. She was inside the first year of her going to college. She hooked up with a football player. Broke my heart. Even though I knew it, my heart was all broken. I got over it. My heart was all broken. Even though I knew that. You know what I'm saying? So, and now that I've been married for 20 years, I'm here to tell you that it ain't even night and I can't even tell you the contrast that exists between puppy love and being married, right? I can't even express the words to tell you how much of a difference that is. It's like two different universes. It is not the same. But it's adults that do that. Run around here in your 30s, run around, you got a girlfriend and boyfriend. Run around trying to be monogamous and you ain't married. I don't get it. But, you know, it is what it is. Maybe it's safer. I get it. It's safer. You don't want to catch nothing. All right, I'm old school this morning, so straight from the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great. Let me pot you up a little bit, brother. Who am I speaking with?
All right. This is Billy.
Hey, what's up, Billy? Good morning to you.
This is the minister's father.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Okay. Now I have 3 sons, and the middle son is the one I'm calling about now. Sean is 6'3", 230, heading off to college, and on a full football scholarship. So he has a little girlfriend, and you know they in love, so they think. And we're at his going away party. And I have my wife there, his mother, and, you know, the young girl, you know, her family are all there. So we're all having a good time, and I'm talking to my wife and my son's mom, and I'm like, well, y'all know that this is, this a rap. They're like, no, they care about each other. And I said, okay. I said, now I'm going to tell you. He's 6'3", 230, about to go on a football scholarship, and his world is about to open up to him. So everybody's laughing. I said, well, I'm going to tell y'all what. He's going to get to school, and it's going to be like, Tasia, who? And everybody at the party mad at me. Like, I'm just telling y'all the truth. This kid has prospects. He's about to go to school. Like, she's still got a senior year to finish in high school, and he's on his way off to college. Like, this ain't gonna work. But everybody at the party looking at me like I'm wrong. This boy went off to school, and I don't think it took 3 weeks, and it was like I said.
Right.
It was just like I said.
Right.
Tasia who? And not only did he transfer from that college, he ended up transferring to go out west. So he ended up going to California to college. And it got even worse. I'm like, so what are y'all talking? I'm like, but everybody mad at me. So now my wife looks at me. She even heard you. She was hearing you this morning, so she called me like, you got to call Nate and tell the story. I said, why? I told y'all. She said, see, that's what happened. I said, I just told you what was going to happen.
Right.
He's a good-looking kid. He's 6'3", 230 pounds. The world's about to open up. Hey, she's still in high school. He's about to go see women.
Right.
Grown women.
Right.
Like, so, like, you can only expect to happen what's going to happen. I mean, one in a few thousand will have that love relationship where they'll stay together. But you're still young. You're unmarried. Having a boyfriend and a girlfriend, that's one thing. But, when you get out into that world and your head gets to turning, you're like, oh, my God, is this really what's out here?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Just like, it is what it is on that level. Nobody's married, like you said. Till you marry it, it ain't necessarily a thing.
Exactly. Hey, Billy, thank you for the story, man.
Hey, no problem, Nate. Have a good one, bro.
You too. I appreciate it. See, Billy backing me up. 6'3" on a football team, man. When he said his world's about to open up, he meant that on multiple levels. The football players, come on, man. Because, you got to understand that the football, typically when college starts, right, that first semester, the football players is BMOC, big men on campus. Because it's their season. They're walking around looking like the 300. Everybody got six packs. They BMOC on campus like that first semester or two because it's football season. And for, on both sides, if you're a football player, you got all kinds of women. We ain't even going to talk about the white girls. We ain't going to talk about them. You got all kinds of options. And again, people are human. I'm not saying anything negative about that young girl, about her character. Could be my daughter. She's human. I'm gonna say the same thing to you. I'm gonna say to my daughter. It is what it is. And then Billy said his son went out west. Oh my God. I can only imagine. Stop playing games. When I'm not saying like if my daughter has a relationship, I'm gonna tell her the truth. Straight up, you can keep this and not keep it. You're on your way to bigger and better things. Why you caught up with some high school dude? Move on with your life. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Ron writes, they broke up right then, LOL. Pat's in the house. She writes, good morning. Fame writes, what is this? Good morning to you, Fame. Dale writes, it's not even about faithfulness. People grow apart and choose different paths. It's about human nature. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Chris Rock said. Chris Rock said that a man is only as faithful as his options. Well, that's true about women too. You got these young girls and they in high school, so their whole world is just these high school dudes. They go out to college and it's dudes from all over the globe there. All types of dudes. Kind of dudes they've been seeing on music videos and never really had interactions with, and now they interacting with them. What you think gonna happen? What you think gonna happen? You gonna be faithful? Like Billy said, I would say I would give that couple, that young couple that you see right here, I would give them about a 1. Let me see here. Fame, I mean, you're a prognosticator, man. Help me out with this. I would give this young couple probably a 1 in... Let me see here. I want to be realistic with this. I want to give them like a 1 in a million shot. A 1 in a million shot that they are going to end up married. Okay, 1 in a million. And I'm not saying nothing negative about either one of them. I'm sure they're both lovely young people and they go to church and all the kind of stuff, that whatever it is that you care about, but that's unrealistic expectations. I think people do that as adults as well. I mean, people put these unrealistic expectations on their relationships thinking that, and it's really insecurity, but thinking that's going to keep them together. That's not going to keep you together. It is what it is. Again, family, 513-873-7134 if you like to share your thoughts this morning. Running things a little bit differently, so it's not going to sound the same or maybe even look the same as it usually does. Just had some technical difficulties, but the show goes on, homie. The show goes on. Before I go any further, I want to give a minute to give a word to our sponsor. Check this out.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
Rothstein on the line. Hold on 1 second here because I want to do that a little bit differently. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, that was yesterday. I want to take that off as well. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, just 1 second here. So I don't want to just play the audio for you. I want to play this video. Check this.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
There's a link in the description this morning if you're interested in getting more information on how you can possibly become a medical coder. You can find it in the description, whether on YouTube or Facebook. And a good way of supporting this show and the cause for independent black media in the Cincinnati area and beyond is supporting our sponsors. Black-owned business. All right, I got Fame Rothstein on the line. Good morning to you, Fame. How are you?
Today.
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Hey, what's this? I haven't been listening actively. Past like 10 days or whatever. What's this about you at 10 o'clock at night now?
Yeah, I'm doing a show called Late Night Nate.
Late Night Nate.
Late
What's it on?
Night
YouTube?
Nate. It'll be on YouTube and Facebook.
YouTube and Facebook. Is it live?
It'll be live, yep. It'll
Okay,
be different than this show. This show, we talk a lot of politics, current events in Cincinnati. That show is more about people and, in particular, pleasure.
Oh, okay. When does it begin?
I haven't put out the date yet.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Oh yeah, for sure,
on expanding your empire, old black ass Ted Turner. With the media, you know. But hey, I get a couple. The over under is a semester and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything will be all peachy the first semester because the girl's gonna be wide-eyed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to find a way around college, find a way into the buildings. You know, but she'll lose interest. She'll come home for Christmas break. The interest will be renewed. But once she goes back and then see all the dunkers and the basketball players and, you know, and when she goes back in January, it's over.
Yeah.
It'll be over by March.
Yeah.
You know, like completely over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some B words and F-boy be called, you know what I'm saying, about
right.
then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I heard you to ask about that. But the real reason I've been wanting to talk to you is about, I saw that panel on with Aldridge and Big Byron and them.
Yeah.
And I was disgusted.
Why were you
not at the intent, but why the hell is David Lynch on there?
Well, he's a pillar in the community.
Every damn time we talking about black folks, we gotta include a damn reverend. When if you look deeply at the problem, they ain't a problem. If you look deeply at it, they're a problem.
How so?
Because black folks just too reliance on Christianity. All of them, they all suckers. They all dead to me. Lynch, K.Z. Smith, all them Negroes. Beaumont, all of them, they all dead to me. I don't want to hear nothing you've been saying. Because we go to you every time. It's part of the playbook. That play don't work. It doesn't work anymore. We need to try something else, Coach.
Well, let me challenge you on something real quick.
It's the same playbook.
But go ahead and finish your flow. Go ahead and finish your flow before.
No, you go ahead. You said you wanted to go ahead. What you got to say, man?
What I would say is, did you watch the video?
I did not, because he was on. I said, never mind.
Okay, then. So
anytime a reverend is involved, it's never mind for St. Rothstein.
I listen. That's fair. That's your opinion. But where it's unfair is you didn't even hear what the brother had to say, and you're criticizing him.
I've got a 44-year sample on what these reverends are going to say.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
It's unfair for you to criticize him, and you didn't even hear what the man had to say. He might have dropped some jewels, but you don't know because you didn't listen.
I doubt he's turned a 180 from what I've known of him of the last 20 years.
What I would say is, and my challenge to you is, go back and listen to what he said. And then call me back and tell me where he was wrong or where he was right. Judge him on what he's saying now. That's what I would say. I ain't trying to defend nobody, man. That's how you
don't matter if you're wrong or right. You're ineffective.
Say what now?
None since he came on the scene. Doesn't matter if he's wrong or right. Rhetoric is rhetoric. He's ineffective.
Okay. I know you got a long-standing issue with rhetoric.
You know I have another. No, hold on a second, because you know I have an issue with him and his current occupation.
Right. The fact that he is in the medicinal marijuana business. You had a problem with that, too.
As a reverend, yes.
I don't see a contradiction there.
What would heal more than the power of God? What would heal more than the power of God?
Well, didn't God create all the things that grow out of the earth? Nature?
Well, you should be able to translate that energy. As a reverend, you need to be able to translate that energy. Transform it. Transfer it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't any.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fraud. They're frauds. That's all I got to say.
He's a fraud.
Let's be real.
All right.
I had fun.
So,
I'll holler at you soon, B. I'm definitely going to check out the late night joint.
Oh, for sure. Man. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Yeah, it's called Late Night Nate. I'm excited about it. And, well, number one, I mean, this is what I'm doing. You know, I believe in the power of independent black voices. That's the reason why I created Sin Digital Media. That's the reason I'm working with a lot of really good black voices in the city of Cincinnati. If you're a content creator or a creative, or you want to promote your voice, hit me up with a DM. Perhaps we can work together as I build out our network. There's so much talent in the city of Cincinnati, in the greater Cincinnati area. And I think there's an ability to harness it. And many people know that I've been on this journey for some time. And COVID-19 and some health issues I had late last year, culminating in February of this year, slowed me down a bit, but I'm feeling A1 and ready to get back into it. So Late Night Nate will be, I'm looking at 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Wednesdays at 10 p.m., hump day. And the show it'll be me. Perhaps a different side of me. We talk a lot of politics. We talk to politicians, current events, things like that. I'm not saying we won't talk current events, but I'm just going to say the focus of that show will be people and pleasure. We'll put it that way. All right, back to the phones. We got John from Florida on the line. Hey, good morning, John. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as good people around the world, and yes, the choppers. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, John. Doing great, man. How are you?
Great. Well, I'm a little disturbed. I'm glad you opened up talking about the Jacob Blake shooting that, yes, did happen over the weekend.
Yeah, I've been talking about it this morning. I talked about it yesterday, but you got a quick comment on that? Sure, we can entertain that. What's up?
Well, to recap on this, as I watched the video, I know I've heard about it. It was several shootings, I think, in different areas. Not so much that area, but across the country. Nobody really paid too much mind to it over the weekend. But this case, this Mr. Blake story is clear and wide open. And LeBron James chimed in on it, I think, I believe it was Monday night. And several people, will get to him in about a second. But I watched the video over and over and over again. And then the late night news, NBC News on Monday night, did a recap and showed it over and over and over again. But the recap, and I'm sure you probably talked about it, as you looked at the various videos, and YouTube has all the videos, and probably some videos that we probably don't even know about, you hear the yelling and the screaming, and to recap, he was driving down the street with his 3 boys in the back seat, and he looks and sees these 2 women fighting on the street. So I guess he's being a good Samaritan. Maybe he should have kept going. Maybe he shouldn't have got involved. But he stops the car to get out and break up the fight. He tries to break the fight up. I don't know who called the cops, but the cops happened to show up. And allegedly, the cops thought he was the madman, but he was just breaking the fight up. But what disturbs me is you see the one video, the cops had him on the ground. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, no taser was involved. They had him on the ground. He somehow gets up, walks away from the cops, which is comical to me. He walks away like it was, the cops wasn't there slowly. He wasn't running. He just walking away. Cops already pulled their gun out, pointing at him. They followed him around the car. I guess we don't know what was said. Stop. He's yelling, screaming. That lead cop with the gun, he unlocks his door like the cops wasn't there, and he goes to step in. The cops, you can see the left arm. His right arm has the gun out.
Right.
The cop pulls on his shirt, and then that's when he started firing. True. Little that cop knew the 3 boys were in the back seat. Suppose that gun, the bullets would have went in several directions, would have hit one of those kids. So, you know, and I believe supposedly the prosecutor or the city officials, nobody's saying nothing. They didn't have their cams on. Why? I don't know. That's going to come out too. So, you know, this is 10 shots. Why? Why didn't you use your taser? That bothers me. Why didn't you use a nightstick? How was he able, with all the training that police have across the country, how was he able to get out of the grips from off the ground, get up, walk away, it wasn't running, walk away like it was nothing? I mean, this was insane what happened. Now let's get into LeBron James. I don't know if you caught that YouTube video, and LeBron James makes a statement. But Stephen A. Smith was in that video. You gotta watch that video.
Okay.
After James after James talks, and then I can't remember, one of the other athletes make a statement, and then Stephen A. gets in, and he really rips. He talks about this situation and why it happened and why he was passionate about talking about it. You gotta see that. It was very, very good.
Was it on the Stephen A? Was it on First Take, or was it some kind of other video?
Yes, he was on First Take.
He was on First Take.
On YouTube,
okay.
Somebody on YouTube grabbed it. The statement talks about James talking first, and James was disturbed with the shooting, and then some other athlete chimed in, and then Stephen A. really lays it all out. And Stephen A. talks about, he gives you an example why he was passionate about this. He talked about when he has a daughter, and I think he was, I guess a couple of years back, his daughter was 8, and his daughter was in the back seat of the car. He was in New York City, and they're driving from Midtown to Uptown going towards Harlem. And he's driving, and all of a sudden he hears this sound, and it was cops undercover, and they pulled him over. He pulled over. He rolled his window. He said he knows how the cops are in New York City. He rolls all 4 windows down, put his hands on the wheel. The cop approached him, and the cop said license and registration. He said the cops was really nasty. So he already had his license registration now before the cops even got around. So he hands the cops his license registration insurance, and he says, "What did I do wrong?" And the cops yelling at him, "You don't talk to me like this. was in the back seat. And the cop stepped away. The cop came back, and words went back and forth. And then some other cop showed up the last second, and the other cop pushed the cop away that was yelling and handed Stephen A. his license. Stephen A. believed the other cop knew just who he was, and pushed that other cop away and told him, have a nice day. So Stephen A., you'll watch that video, he talks about, he rips the whole scene apart. At some point, I think things are exploding across the country with the protests. We see that every day. I think the shooting is out of control. I don't care what anybody tells me. You can give a law enforcement all the damn training, excuse my language, give them all the training that they want. It doesn't matter. It's the sense of what America is. This goes all the way back, and I've mentioned it to you this many times, Mr. Nathan Ivey. This goes back to the Supreme Court 15 years ago when I read an article deep in the back of the Sunday paper talking about why the Supreme Court give the police the upper hand on all these cases. Now, if I read that in the newspaper, so the law enforcement across the country was reading the same thing I was reading 15 years ago. Since that article I read, it was hidden in the back of the paper, way in the back. If the law enforcement read that gave them the green light to do what they ever want to do.
Well, that and qualified immunity. Pardon me, John. That and qualified immunity.
Yes, yes. Now you put a rat in the White House that tells the police nothing's going to happen to you. Do whatever you want to do. I got your back. So at some point, and I do agree with you, I see where you're going with local law enforcement and telling people to arm themselves and do it right and get protect yourself, practice. This is the Wild Wild West out in the street.
Hey, John.
In Florida.
John, I got to make a move, man, because you take me off topic. I appreciate it. I wanted to get you in, though.
Well, well, thank you for letting me get in, but I recommend if you get a chance, watch that.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Send me a link. That'll make it easier for me, but I'll check it out. Have a nice day.
Okay,
Take it
I'll
easy.
do that. Right.
That's John. He never listens to the show. He just calls in. He ain't listening. So, I'm glad to hear you was talking about Blake. I haven't brought up Blake at all today. He ain't listening. But I do appreciate him, though. Appreciate him giving a damn about the show. He's a chopper from Florida. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. So we talked to Fame. Fame says he gives it about a semester and a half. That sounds about right. If that relationship is able to survive football season, basketball season, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I give it back 4 college parties, and then it's a wrap. Why do people do that in relationships, though? Like, we're talking about these younger folks here. If you're just tuning in this morning, we're talking about this video. I guess you can call it a viral video in which it depicts this young black couple. And the boyfriend gives the girlfriend a Gucci promise ring. I looked it up, man. He paid either $200 or $700, somewhere between that. That's a lot of money at 17, 18. And the whole idea is that she's about to go to college. So I guess he's trying to, lock her down, you know what I'm saying, before she go to college. And having been that age and had relationships, I'm just here to tell you that don't work. Promise rings are just that, promises. And human beings break promises every single day. Pardon me. Human beings break promises that we make to ourselves, let alone making a promise to somebody else at 17, 18, 19. Just totally unrealistic expectation. And again, grown folks do this. You got people in their 30s and 40s putting unrealistic expectations on relationships. And then you want to get in your feelings when things go wrong. Well, then don't set up an unrealistic expectation. It's real simple. And I watched the video, and nowhere in the video do you hear any male voices other than this young man, which I think is part of the problem. You got his mama, or somebody's auntie, somebody's sister. And, women can get so emotional. They get caught up with the whole idea of love that they can't see things in some cases for what they really are. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why dudes are able to even, have relations with women, because women are emotional creatures. If women were more logical like men, They wouldn't, half the dudes they've been with, they looking back, they wouldn't even do it again. But women can sometimes, but I'm speaking specifically about women. Women can sometimes get caught in their emotions. They become prisoners of the moment. And then they look back like, he wasn't even my type. Well, what the hell was you doing? Men don't do that. Men don't do that. When men smash, we never regret it unless two things come out of it. A baby or a venereal disease or some kind of issue. Other than that, men don't regret smashing. But women do it all the time, looking back like, oh, why'd I do that? Because you emotional creature. That's why. It's the way God made you. It's the way we wouldn't be able to procreate if women weren't emotional creatures. So I get women. I understand that. But Uncle Nate is here just to give some advice to the younger generation so they don't make the same mistakes. And all I see in this picture is heartbreak. I feel bad for him. I really do. I feel bad. But what do you think? Again, 513-873-7134. Ron writes, married mine. Okay. So y'all were together previously before college and were able to maintain a relationship throughout college, Ron? Or did you break up and then get back together and things like that? Full disclosure, I met my wife in college. We dated, and then we broke up, and then we dated, and then we broke up, and then we dated again and ended up staying together. But that's the way those kind of relationships are when you're younger. And the reason why is because you're younger. That's why. You're 20. Relationship, commitment in your 20s. People do it. Obviously, they do it all the time. There's a lot of people that's married now or they were married in their 20s, but that is a heavy hill to climb up right there. Terrence writes, these relationships never works because when kids go to school, they are going to meet different people. Absolutely, Ron. Ron knows what he's talking about. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Let me see. Crystal writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Crystal. She's on YouTube. Tracy writes, I got a promise ring at 15. He gave it to me on the Metro bus. Different boyfriend. I'm at work rolling. Really? You got a promise ring at 15? Oh, it's so sweet. Man, I can't. Listen, if my son decides to give some young girl a promise ring, that's on him. I'm going to tell him not to do that ish, and save his money. But if that's what he ends up doing, because he'll be working at that point, because I'm not going to pay for a promise ring. But if he wants to work all week long and then take that money and buy some young girl a promise ring, I ain't with it. But if that's what he wants to do, ultimately, what can you do? I can't stop him. I'm just going to try to counsel him and school him in the same way I'm doing right now. Save your money, Junior. Save it. Save that for when and it's hard to tell a 15-year-old you're not really in love, right? How do you tell somebody their love isn't real? That's hard to do. That's hard to do. But promise ring, I never gave anybody a promise ring. I did propose to the wifey, and she turned me down, the woman I'm married to right now, because she was too young. Looking back, I was too young. And that's how I'm telling you I know what I'm talking about, because I've done all of this. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is the most important show I've ever done. Please share this with the younger generation so they don't have to experience the same heartbreak that I went through, that you might have went through. Pam writes, they are way too young to be that deep in love. Remember the one young couple from here that had a suicide pact? Scary stuff. Suicide pact? A Negro, please. I ain't giving up God's gift for nobody. Especially not some woman. Some female. There's a billion females on the planet. I'm going to commit suicide because one doesn't want me? That don't even compute. That don't make sense. But you're right, Pam. Way too young. Tell them. Teach them. Share this. Teach them. Anthony writes, we need to get back to arranged marriages. I would love to be able to pick the family who has like thoughts and values like mine for my children to marry into. Arranged marriages, Well, the women ain't going for that. Modern women, they're going to take that like you're trying to force women into relationships they don't want to be in. I mean, modern women ain't having that. They ain't having it. I like better, I'm more fond, should I say, the idea of Marriage for a limited time, but you know that's another show for another flow for another show. Crystal writes, feelings change with distance and growth or lack thereof. Yeah. That young man put her under a tremendous amount of pressure. If he was my son, I would tell him to man up and let her find herself and suggest he does the same. Now that is a man who knows what the hell he's talking about. That's exactly what a man would tell his boy. That's what I tell my boy. Like, you sure you want to do this? See, first you can't be too heavy with it because you might push him in the same direction you're trying to pull him away from, right? You can't be too heavy with it. Like my daughter's 15 and she had a boyfriend or friend. I just schooled her on the ins and out of being safe in all areas, being honest. But we didn't really say too much about it. We just let it play itself out because we were 15 once. We know how this works. These little puppy love relationships are like Roman candles, right? They spark up real bright, it's real hot, and then in about a minute or so it fizzles out. You know, it is what it is. Charles writes, I've seen many hometown long distance relationships crumble. Being that young, live your life. Correctamundo. Terrence writes, preach, Nathan. Dale writes, low down, trying to control the kitty, LOL. And that's the other thing, Daryl. He's trying to control the kitty. And you can't control the kitty. The only way you have any control over the kitty is if you're married. And even when you marry, you don't have any control over the kitty. Because a married woman can do whatever she want to do. She may not be supposed to. She might be breaking her vows. But you can't stop another human being from doing nothing they want to do. And you shouldn't even try. It's not worth your effort. It's not worth your effort. Invest in you. Love you. If the kitty wants to stray, let the kitty stray and make your decision about what you're going to do afterward. But trying to control somebody else, I'm telling you, it ain't going to happen. I never really did that because I was always pragmatic. Like, okay, well, women going to be what women going to be. Women are just like dudes. Girls are just like dudes. You know, me and my partners realized that early in life. Like, oh, these girls out here want to smash too. Okay. It's no different. Some of these dudes driving themselves crazy. You're going to end up in a mental institution trying to control the kitty. You cannot. You have no control over it. Marriage gives you a little bit of control, but it's only because the woman you're married to gives it to you. Other than that, you ain't really got no real control. I'm just here to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So save your tears and put them in a little bag and put them in the refrigerator and you can look at them later because that's all you're going to get out of it. I'm just telling you. You can't stop nobody from cheating. It doesn't make a difference how much money you have. It don't make a difference if you're Halle Berry, she got cheated on. Eric Benet, it don't matter what you look like. If the other person wants to stray, they're going to stray. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is set your standards, ask them to be honest, and deal with it accordingly. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Nothing more. Let me see. And nothing is going to stop him from getting some arms while she's away. Nathan, knock it off. Yeah, you're right about that. It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Daryl's right. Young boy trying to put a promise ring on a young girl going to college. He's trying to low-key control the kitty. I love the way he put it. That's exactly what he's trying to do. But you cannot. And if you love somebody, you don't do all that. You don't try to put these unrealistic expectations on them. Let them be who they're going to be and decide who you are and if you can deal with it or not deal with it. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? God did not put you on this earth to run around trying to control somebody else's body. It's a suicide mission, basically. Nothing you can do about it. That little boy wants to cure her smart mind and soft irons. Yeah, I'm still on that. Okay, you can still be on that. Neil writes, Gucci knockoff, time to let her fly. Synovia writes, hello, Mr. Nathan Ivey. How are you and yours? I'm doing well. My name is Synovia, founder of ANS Youth Production and host of I Hear You, WAIF 88.3. What's up? What's up? Question, will you be willing to call in, come out to my radio show, I Hear You, to have a radio host debate, sharing thoughts, opinions on the current issues and voting? Absolutely. Hit me with a DM. I'll circle back around after this show and hit you up, Synovia. Absolutely. And shout out to my Way family. That's where I started in radio. You know what I'm saying? I've done it all. I conquered public radio. I conquered commercial radio. And now I'm conquering digital media. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all three phases of it. So absolutely, I'm flattered that you would even ask, for sure. You already know. Absolutely. Alicia writes, she's building her future by investing in her education. What is he doing to secure his future? If it's meant to be, it will happen. Facts on facts on facts, Alicia, all the way around. Corinne writes, I totally agree. They both have no clue who they are. They are still trying to figure it out. Exactly. That's it. And, you know, listen, I mean, I think there's a lesson in this for older people as well. I guarantee there's some people in their 30s and 40s, late 20s, run around doing this same ish. Talking about, this is my boo. Are you married? No. Well, that's not your boo then. Y'all just friends. Okay, let me just tell you how this works. You got friends and you got married. If you're not married, you're just friends. And that's it. The only thing you have between you is the same thing that people who are friends have between you. And that's a mutual respect and a mutual desire that you say you want to be together. When you get married, depending on how you view marriage, some people take their vows more seriously than others. That's when you get the heavy spiritual and legal consequences and things like that. Before that, it's all play. You're just playing house. That's it. Nobody has any commitment. They're going to do what they want to do with really no real, conscience about it. I'm just telling you the truth. Just being real with you. See, a lot of these relationships, people, they want to talk relationship and tell you a bunch of lies. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And that's the truth. There's people in their 40s running around here talking about, this is my fiance. Okay, that sounds good, but fiance is like a half a step above promise ring in all intents and purposes. What's the difference? It's nothing more than a promise, because you ain't took no vows yet. Just saying. Terrence writes, young relationships love at first, can't stand each other the next minute. Absolutely. They have no idea that you can control your feelings at that age. Somebody needs to tell the truth. Absolutely. Ned writes, no speaker today because I was having some issues with audio. And rather than fiddle around with it for 30 minutes and be super late on the show, I decided to go straight video this morning. So we're live streaming on YouTube and we're live streaming on Facebook this morning with no audio. Okay, it's a little bit different. A little bit different this morning. All right, I want to add some more conversation to the some more thoughts to the conversation, fire, so to speak. And I want to talk about Ice Cube this morning, who issued, I think, a challenge to the Democrat Party, which I agree with. But I also want to talk about what happened with the RNC yesterday. And I think we got Drop on the line, so this might be a great segue. Hey, good morning, Drop. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey, and all the beautiful people on YouTube and across this beautiful country. I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing better than I should be, man. I'm doing great.
Outstanding. Mr. Ivey, your segue was impeccable. And before I get to the RNC and Ice Cube, that young couple, that young black couple, Mr. Ivey, there's a strong possibility they could be young Christians. They have a vow of celibacy. So we all know the reality of life in college. But anyway, let's give those young people a chance. Now, on to the RNC, Mr. Ivey, and Ice Cube's comments. It's not only Ice Cube, Mr. Ivey. The Democrat Party is starting to panic. Just like I told you, black, not Democrat, has legs. And Donald Trump is actively and in your face getting the black millennial vote. And last night, when he pardoned that black man, John Ponder, in front of all of America to see, and MSNBC and CNN, they couldn't stand it, but they had to show it. You can't fact check that, Mr. Ivey. You cannot fact check the humanity, the compassion in the heart of the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. Oh, I know I'm triggering right now. But Mr. Ivey, the Republican National Committee is seriously showing the Democrat Party, and mainly the young millennial black Democrats that are out there and that are tired of all this symbolism. They tired of the talking, like Ice Cube is trying to say. He wants tangibles. It was about 3 weeks ago when he put out his agenda for Black America, or his contract for Black America.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Ivey, I have not heard anybody from the Democrat Party reach out to Ice Cube and at least sit down with him and talk about the things or the items on his agenda. So he's out there today, and he's letting his voice be heard. Mr. Ivey, Ice Cube has the young black millennial ear, and it's starting to resonate with the Democrat Party that Joe and Kamala, they got to get busy, because the DNC, they are not responding to the Republican Party and their Republican National Committee like Donald Trump and the RNC did last week during the Democrats' convention, or some people called it trolling. But the Republican National Committee and Donald Trump are actively seeking the black vote. And I think the last poll I saw, Mr. Ivey, he's polling at 13% with the black vote. So if he holds on to that,
well, let me ask you this though. You say the Republicans. You say that the RNC and Donald Trump are actively trying to get the black vote.
Yes.
Okay. So I would say the same thing to the Republicans that I would say to the Democrats. What are you doing? Have you heard of any Republicans reaching out to Ice Cube to work with him on his contract for Black America? Because I haven't.
Yes.
Who?
But he doesn't want to say who's actually been reaching out to him, because Ice Cube is fully aware of the cancel culture. So he has to make it appear to be open to all politicians, which he said originally when he released his statement on his contract with Black America. He said he doesn't care which party you're from.
Right.
So to say for any black Republican to publicly say that they're on the same page as Ice Cube, it'll just destroy Ice Cube's agenda.
No, it won't, because he already said, and I read it. He already said when he put the statement out that it was nonpartisan. He said it don't matter whether it's Democrats or Republicans. So all I'm saying is if you're gonna question the Democrat Party as to whether they're reaching out to Ice Cube, then we should question the Republican Party. Are they reaching out to Ice Cube? And the answer is they're not either. They're not reaching out either.
Okay, but Mr. Ivey, has Ice Cube ever said which political party he's affiliated with?
That's not the point.
Yes, it is.
No, actually, it's
has
not.
he ever said it?
Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter as it relates to the conversation.
You know why? You know why it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter because his agenda is nonpartisan. He said that.
No, but
in his interview with Roland Martin, he said that.
I know that, but Mr. Ivey, when you see a black face talking about politics, what party are they in, Mr. Ivey?
It don't matter. That's not the point.
It does
The point
matter.
is that if we're going to hold the Democrat Party responsible for whether they're reaching out to Ice Cube, then we got to hold all the parties responsible as to whether they're reaching out to Ice Cube. And
okay,
if we're gonna question what the Democrats are doing for, because to me the black agenda is bigger than any party. It's about whatever party's going to deliver the tangibles. So if we're going to criticize the Democrats and what they're not doing, we got to criticize the Republicans and the Independents and what they're not doing, the Green Party and everybody else. Doesn't that seem fair?
Okay. Well, yes, of course, but this is reality. This is America, Mr. Ivey. If black people don't vote for Republicans are still going to win their elections. It's the Democrat Party that relies heavily on the black vote, and they know they can't win a national election without 88 to 95% of black voter
really the point?
Party, yes, okay, Joe Biden said it twice. First, he said it to Charlamagne the God when he said, if you're questioning between me and Trump, you're not black. Then he said it again when he was on a podcast with the Black Journalists of America, when he said, as everybody knows, except for few exceptions, black people are not diverse. He said it. In those two statements, Mr. Ivey,
but see, now
from
what you're
a
doing,
70-something-year-old white Democrat, that tells you what they think about black people.
But see, you're doing the same thing that I hear from a lot of black Republicans. Is rather than talking about the equity, policy, and tangibles that Republicans have delivered for the black community and or are planning to deliver for the black community, you want to talk about what Joe Biden said. I'm more interested in what Donald Trump has done and or what he's planning to do for us. And what is that?
Joe Biden. Okay, real quick, Mr. Ivey, I'm gonna wrap this up, sir, because I don't want to take up a lot of your time. Because Mr. Ivey, Joe Biden represents the problem in the black community with politics and politicians. He's a white politician that represents the Democrat Party, which is made up of 80 to 90% of black registered voters. Okay?
You're doing it again.
This is what Mr. Ivey, when you hear people talk about systemic racism, look at Joe Biden.
You're doing it again.
When you hear Democrat politicians telling you that Joe Biden needs to bring us together, he needs to unite us because Donald Trump is destroying all the systems and the fabric of this country. But you got black people in the streets talking about systemic racism. So which one is it, Democrats? Is it systemic racism or is it just good old America that Donald Trump is destroying?
So you're getting away from the real point again, right? You're doing it again.
Okay.
And you're doing what I hear a lot of black conservatives do. I just said, I'll say it again for clarity.
Yes, sir.
Instead of telling me what Donald Trump has done, what has he delivered? Equity, policy, tangibles for black America. What is his specific black agenda? You want to talk to me about what Joe Biden said when he was talking about talking to Charlamagne the God. Who cares what he did? This is about what Donald Trump is going to do for black America and what has he delivered in the last 4 years. That's what the conversation should be about as it relates to Donald Trump and the Republican Party.
Yes. Okay. First of all, Mr. Ivey, again, sir, we only have two major parties in this country.
Right.
They are not the same. The only similarities are they both are occupied by desperate, lying, cheating politicians who only care about a vote. Donald Trump has only been president for less than 4 years.
What?
Joe Biden has been a Democrat politician in the United States Senate and 8 years as the vice president of the first black president, and he has no record other than apologizing
doing it again.
for the pain and suffering that he has done to the black people.
You're doing it
with
again.
the crime bill in 1994 and the berating of our sister.
You're doing it again.
What am I doing?
You're not answering the question. And I think it's because you don't have an answer, Drop. So I'm not going to drag this on out because I don't think you really have anything to give. Like I said, I'm less concerned. When I talk and hear from black conservatives, I'm less concerned about you telling me that Joe Biden is not. Okay, black Republican. When I hear from black Republicans, I'm less concerned about you telling me about what Joe Biden said wrong and what he didn't do. I'm more concerned about what your party is going to do. So, what Republican has reached out to and is currently working with Ice Cube on his contract for Black America?
Okay.
Name them.
Okay, this is it. Okay, this is it, Mr.
Please name them.
If you want to know, okay,
you can't name them.
I am not elected. I am not an elected politician.
You don't have to be to answer that question.
How many times have I answered that question?
None.
Mr.
Zero. You've not answered it at all.
Okay. First Step Act, 2017 new tax bill, regulations, the economy. I mean, what do I mean, the promises that a Okay? Black people can hear it. You don't need a talk show host to ask somebody who calls into his show, can you name what the Republicans are doing for black vote?
Well, because I'm holding you accountable. That's what you're trying to say about the Democrats.
Because anytime, whatever I name, you're going to laugh and smirk at it like you're doing right now when I'm looking at you on YouTube.
I did laugh and smirk at you because I could tell you had the time to get on Google and do a little research. I thought it was hilarious. But that is policy.
Here we go.
It was just, for lack of a better word, nonsense.
Lowest black unemployment in American history until COVID struck. 3.4% unemployment before COVID struck. Chinese, Mexico.
That was Barack Obama and Joe Biden, though. China.
Trump has put them in check. Korea, Little Kim ain't talking about dropping bombs on Hawaii no more. Iran, they done run their little punk asses back to the, I ain't gonna say it might sound racist, but they are in check.
Okay, I get it.
Ain't nobody threatening America, Mr. Ivey, except for protesters in the streets of blue Democrat cities. That's all I got. Drop Squad 52.
That's all I need.
So anyone who wants to catch it, hey, all it takes is 5 to 8 to keep America great. What do you have to lose? Peace.
We got a lot to lose. Another 4 years. So that's Drop there, everybody's favorite black Republican that calls into the show. He doesn't like when I call him a conservative. And to all black Republicans, I mean, I don't need you to tell me that Joe Biden says some dumb-ish in a couple of interviews. If you're a black Republican trying to convince the black community to vote for Donald Trump, then tell me what the equity policy intangibles are or what his plans are. I mean, and you want to talk about symbolism. I mean, what we're seeing right now at the RNC is pure symbolism. I mean, even Fox News is criticizing Donald Trump for his usage of the office of the presidency in the Republican National Convention. So this is all theater. But what are the tangibles? And stop hitting me with the same old, get off the Democrat plantation. Oh, so I should get off the Democrat plantation and go to the Republican plantation. I don't think the Republican Party has a plan for black America at all. Locally, regionally, or nationally. So about 2 years ago, I was doing a podcast, Hot Mic Podcast, and one of our guests was the Hamilton County Republican Party Chairman, Alex Triantafulu, right? And I asked Alex, I said, well, Alex, I mean, to keep it 100 with you, I mean, there's a lot of black people that have a really strong conservative streak. But in Hamilton County, the Republican Party, in my opinion, doesn't really try to attract black votes. They don't really run hard in the black community. They might show up with a campaign ad here or there on black radio. But other than that, I don't really see any kind of game plan that the Hamilton County Republican Party is using to try to attract black votes. I was candid with him. I said, look, there's an opportunity there. And you guys are missing. You know what he told me? He said, well, yabba dabba do Jeff Pastor. So his response to my question was, look at Jeff Pastor. I'm like, what in the hell? I mean, there are opportunities there. I mean, that's not my job to tell the Republicans how to make inroads into the black community. I mean, they could if they put together an authentic agenda, right? And wasn't so caught up with these racists and the corporate types and the wealthy 1%. I mean, there's an opportunity there because there is dissatisfaction with black voters with the Democrat Party, but they don't want to compete at all for your vote. So on one hand, you have a party, the Democrat Party, that a lot of black people feel like, you know, it's kind of like voters' remorse. They're not getting what they feel they should. And on the other hand, you have a party that completely ignores you. So where do you go? But at this point, we go back to the phones and say good morning. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan, it's Pavin Parikh. How are you doing today?
Hey, Pavin, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I feel like I found the right time to give you a call.
think you have, man. Hey, welcome to the show.
Right on topic, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the show, man. Hey, Pavman, for folks who may not be aware of who you are and the office that you're running for, just kind of give us a rundown of who you are and, what you're doing now.
Sure. Well, first of all, I miss seeing you because I remember seeing you out at events back when we could be around some other human beings. I don't miss seeing other human beings, but I'm running for probate court judge. My background is I'm a Cincinnati kid, Princeton High School grad, born and raised, and went to Xavier for college, law school in St. Louis, and have been working across different aspects of the law. I've worked at my own practice. I worked for Judge Nathan Allen for a period of time. I hear the controversy with the Democratic Party. I used to work for the Ohio Democratic Party. I worked at the State House as the chief counsel for the Senate Democrats, working for Eric Kearney and Cecil Thomas. I currently work at a bank where I focus a lot of my work on affordable housing. And I spent the last 7 years as a judge advocate in the Army Reserve. So a little bit of everything. It's been good. It's been a really broad base of experience. I've gotten to learn a lot, got to interact with a lot of people, and really get to understand and learn about issues that are affecting all of our communities across the board.
Huh. Judge Advocate General, huh? Wasn't there like a television show? What was it called, JAG or something like that? That's a real thing.
Yeah, there's a television show, and it was about a Navy guy, but I can guarantee you that it is way less interesting and fun than the TV show made it seem like. Because he was out there flying around in airplanes and stuff, and I just write a lot of paperwork.
I just write a lot of paperwork. Well, I'm just curious now we brought it up. So what's the job of a JAG?
So it's everything. So the military has its own legal system, its own justice system. So you can do a lot of different type of work. You can work what you think of, like if you've seen the movie A Few Good Men, you've seen Rules of Engagement, you've seen the TV show JAG. A lot of that's the criminal aspect of it, where like you prosecute or defend cases at court martial. But you also are responsible for doing legal reviews. So if somebody does an investigation, you want to make sure that they've upheld their end of the bargain as the investigating officer, and make sure that they've made sure that everyone has due process, make sure that no one's rights are being violated, that their conclusions are sound. But it's also, if you're downrange deployed in a combat zone, you're the person that's on the phone when someone's deciding, hey, do we have the authority to launch an action? Do we have the authority to kill someone? What are our rules of engagement? So it's a really wide-ranging practice, and it's been a lot of fun. But one of the things that everybody does, and you spend some period of time sitting down with soldiers who are usually about to deploy to war and writing their wills and estate plans and trying to talk through with them their issues and their families and make sure that they are set up for success if something were to happen for them.
What's the most difficult thing that you had to deal with, the most difficult decision you had to make in that particular job?
So I spent 3 years serving as a special victims counsel, which means that I was a lawyer for victims of sexual assault. And there's nothing like it in the civilian sector. It is not only, in the civilian sector, you've got the prosecutor and then the defense attorney for the person accused of the sexual assault. But the actual victim doesn't really have their own lawyer. In the military system, you get your own lawyer. And that has been every case that I've worked on through that has been difficult because, especially in, you wear the same uniform of someone who hurt this victim. And I've got to get this victim to be able to believe me and build trust with them and have them understand that I'm on their side and I'm not on the side of the people that have hurt them. That just in general is one of the hardest things you can do. But, you put in the hard work, you talk to people, you listen to people, and you prove to them through your actions that you're on their side, and they come around.
So you said you're running for a probate judge, correct?
Correct.
How many probate judges are there in Hamilton County?
One. So there is one judge, but they have appointment authority for 5 magistrates.
Wow.
So it's an incredibly powerful position. The office has almost 40 full-time staff, including the magistrates. It runs its own clerk of court's office. It's a pretty big administrative operation, and I think it flies under the radar for a lot of people.
Right. So what are some of the responsibilities of the probate judge that people just, as you said, just don't realize, they just don't know?
Look, I'll be honest. I think you talk to most lawyers, and they probably don't know all the responsibilities of the probate
So how long is the term for the probate judge? Is that be 4 years, 6 years?
So all judicial seats in Ohio are 6-year terms.
6 year terms, okay. And what would you bring differently to that particular position? Like, what's your why? Why are you running for probate judge here in Hamilton County?
I mean, my why is that I think that we can do better as a government in whatever aspect of it is. But as a government, we can and should and have a responsibility to do better for the people that we serve. That we have a responsibility to fix wrongs that are there. That we have a responsibility to reduce barriers to accessibility and to increase equality and reduce inequality. And I have not seen that from this court. And at a certain level, you look at an organization, especially when you're looking at potentially running for office, and you go, is it being run the way I think it should be run? And if the answer is no, is there someone better that I trust to do this, or do I need to try to do this myself? And I think I need to try to do this myself. One of my friends who's also running for a different judgeship, Wendy Cross, talks a lot about, you don't know where you don't go. You don't know the issues in the communities unless you go to them, unless you're a part of them. And what I've seen is a lack of response and a lack of responsibility to really addressing and reducing barriers to access to the courts. And when you look at something like probate court, for example, we talk about the idea that this is where you go if someone in your family passes away and then you need to figure out how to handle their estate. Well, we know that there is a problem in the African American community and the immigrant communities too of transferring intergenerational wealth. So what has the court done to try to educate people, to try to get people on a better, more solid footing to create intergenerational wealth? I have seen nothing from this court.
What would you do?
And that is something I want to change. Well, so I think it's simple. I released a 5-point plan in an op-ed I wrote for the Inquirer a few weeks back, laying out what specifically my agenda is to try, especially with the African American community, to try to alleviate some of these wrongs. So issue 1 is working with community organizations, working with the Urban League, NAACP, any other community agency or organization that is dedicated to alleviating economic disparities, working with the Bar Association, working with other organizations like Pro Seniors does estate planning workshops, other groups do estate planning workshops. Let's get all of these groups together and say, how do we work with the faith community and start putting on clinics so we can get people to understand that this is something they need to think about, and this is how they need to start working on the paperwork to make sure that they don't get in a situation where their family gets torn apart or because they're fighting over money after someone passes. So issue 1 is put together these clinics to work on low-cost or free wills and estate planning services for low-income individuals. 2 is to look at what's already in the jurisdiction of the court: adoptions, mental health determinations, to make sure that we don't have any disparities based upon race or gender or age, that everyone is being treated equally in the court. Make sure that there's a process for high-level vacancies, like a magistrate vacancy, to ensure that we are considering a diverse pool of candidates, that I can't just pick someone because they're my buddy. I need to make sure that I am going out there to get a diverse group of candidates and that I am interviewing a diverse group of candidates, because that's the only way we're going to effectively change what the courthouse really looks like. We need to make sure that we've got policies that can make sure that the court is accessible to people with limited income. I mean, a name change costs $120, $140. For some people, that's a lot of money. And why? Why are we not aggressively looking at what can we subsidize and afford to help people who need the help? And then finally, I want to work with the local law schools, and I want to work with the Black Lawyers Association and try to figure out how do we get more African-American law students and attorneys into these fields, because one of the issues that we have right now, and I'll say this as an Indian American, when I look at my family, they tend to trust a professional that is of a similar background as them. And you look in the healthcare sector, I mean, especially with the disparities for African Americans, and there was just a study that came out that showed if a baby is treated, or if a woman has an African American OBGYN, the likelihood of uncomplicated childbirth is significantly higher than if they don't. So my assumption is that we have a similar issue in the legal field. We just don't have the data to back it up. So let's get more black and brown lawyers working in these fields so that way the people that need their services are also coming from the same communities and they can understand some of the nuance and some of the cultural issues that maybe other lawyers wouldn't.
Speaking with Pavan Parikh, he's running for Hamilton County Probate Court. Hamilton County Probate Judge. I did see your article in the Inquirer. I thought it was interesting. One thing that stood out to me is the power of the probate judge to appoint who's on the Parks Board. I thought that was interesting. And
yeah, so that's something that nobody's really paid much attention to until about, let's say, the last month or so.
Yes. So the probate judge has the power to appoint all 5 members of the board?
That's correct.
Wow, that's interesting. And that's a very powerful, I think, board. I mean, because we have a lot of parks, there's a lot of sway there. And then the board itself has the ability to put a levy on the ballot. Is that correct?
That's correct. It is, I believe, the only board at the county level that has the authority to put a levy on the ballot without a specific review or by the county commissioners or the tax levy review committee.
It's interesting. Very interesting. So, I mean, just to probe, just to give a sense of who you are. So you're an Indian American. I'm an African American. When we look at the legal system, at least from the lens of black people, we see a lot of problems. And I want to get your thoughts about what's happened in the wake of George Floyd. I want to get your honest reaction and opinion to how you feel the legal system interacts, or should I say the judicial system interacts with non-white people. And also I want to get your thoughts about the Black Lives Matter movement. Are you for it or are you against it? And so what's your take on that?
So the answer is it interacts poorly. I think that the single determining factor for really anybody as to how they're going to be treated in the legal system is how much money they have. And I think that's a fundamental problem. But I think that you can compound the problems with money with race. And look, the Ohio Supreme Court 20 years ago released a study saying we've got a problem with racial inequity in our justice system. So I think that anybody that says that there isn't a problem is just not paying attention. When I was in law school, I worked for a public defender's office, and you saw it every single day. I mean, you go sit in that courtroom every single day. You see who's being brought into the courtroom, what the charges are, what the bail is set at, and what they look like, and then you see other people that are being brought in and what their charges are and what they look like. It is astonishing to me that there are people out there who truly believe that there isn't a problem. Because as far as I'm concerned, that just means you're not looking. You're not paying attention. As far as the Black Lives Matter movement, I am pleasantly surprised that, I mean, look, it's incredibly terrible and unfortunate that George Floyd was killed. But I am pleasantly surprised at how many people have really taken to the streets. The diversity of those people, too, because it's not just black and brown people out on the streets. I just hope that we can maintain this movement to a point where real policy changes can happen. I mean, you look at the young man that was killed in Wisconsin over the weekend. I'll go back to my experience in the Army. If that was a soldier that did the shooting, if that was a soldier that acted in that way, I would be hard pressed to think that person was not aggressively violating the rules of engagement. So if it would be illegal and wrong for you to do in a combat zone, I have concerns about the model that we are using for policing in our country.
Let's take some questions from the audience. Jordan has a question. She wants to know, will you diversify the park board? Currently, there's only one black person. Is that true?
That is true, and my plan to diversify it is actually a couple points. One, to have there be an open and transparent process when a vacancy arises. So publicize it out to every organization I can think of to say, hey, we want to make sure we get a diverse crop of candidates. Two, I want to make sure that I am disclosing in case someone has been a political contributor, because I think that's important to make sure that there's no appearance of impropriety. What I would do is I would have them fill out an application that would explain why they want to be on the board, that would give them the option to leave their demographic information. So it could be something that could be considered. You don't have to. And I would also ask them to write down what their political contributions have been. Only because, and what I would do is I would direct my department to say, black that last part out. I don't want to see that. However, if I make an appointment and someone has, I want it to be able to be disclosed. So I don't want that influencing my decision, but I think that the public deserves to know if this person has or has not. But I think you got to be open and transparent, and you got to be committed to diversity. I mean, look, the Parks Board is large. It's got a lot of land. It's got a lot of land outside of the city, but if they levied a tax, or they put a tax levy on the ballot, city residents would still have to pay for that tax. So I think it's important that we make sure that the city is represented as well, because I live in the city, and I would want to know that if this is a county asset that city community members use, that they're being represented in decision-making.
Absolutely. I'm on your website right now. You got a long list of endorsements here. Okay. Let me go back to the people. What is your website for people who are interested and want to get more information? www.pavanforjudge.com. That's PAVANFOR judge.com. Absolutely. I'm looking. So going back here. So probate judge has decision making. Does the probate judge choose the magistrates? And if so, if you become the new probate judge, are you planning on making any decisions? Can you just first day on the job decide, hey, I want to change who the magistrates are? Are there rules to it? What's that process like?
So the probate court judge makes all the decisions, and you could decide to change, immediately if you wanted to. What I do think, though, is that I think it would be a mistake to, on the first day, start getting rid of people, because I think you want to make sure that you can plan for a transition, that you're not losing the institutional knowledge. But I do think that you want people in those positions that reflect what you want to do with the office. And so my goal is not to come in and just can people and put them on their butts out on the street. I don't think that's an effective way to run a business, or any type of organization. But I think that you need to sit down with everyone who's there and say, this is the program. You want to get with it? Great. I'll look forward to trying to work with you. If this isn't what you want to do, then we need to figure out how we can move on. But yeah, you have full authority, and I think that process needs to be, again, also made more open and transparent. We need to solicit applications from a wide variety of sources and try to make sure that we have a diverse group of candidates that's coming in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And then real quickly, Pavan, I mean, just tell people, what are the role of the magistrates? How are magistrates different from other judges? Are they the same? What are the differences in their responsibilities?
So they're basically like mini judges. So they have a lot of authority. They basically act on behalf of the judge to make a lot of the daily decisions. And so realistically, for most people, if you were to come in front of a magistrate, you probably wouldn't really know the difference between a magistrate and the judge. However, if you want to appeal a decision that a magistrate makes, then you will move up to the judge. So the judge can also determine how they want to assign the magistrates, how they want to have the caseload work. So the judge has a lot of authority again, but for most people, you will generally, if you're coming to the probate court and you have to see somebody in a robe, you're probably going to be seeing a magistrate first before an issue gets elevated to the judge's level.
Well, Pavan, listen, thank you for your time, man. I definitely want to reconnect with you. And of course, this show is a part of a local network, Sin Digital Media. We have other hosts that want to speak with you as well. And what I'm hoping is that this is not the last time we talk before the election. But thank you so much for your time this morning. Oh, absolutely, for sure. I appreciate it. It's a good introduction to the audience here. And hopefully we can catch up again. hopefully we can catch up again in, let's say, late October, somewhere mid to late October, and catch up right before the election.
Sir, anytime you got any questions or want my opinions on anything, you just shoot me a text. I'll give you a call and get right on.
Okay, I'll certainly do that. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, my friend.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Oh, you got it. That's Pavan Parikh. He's running for a probate judge here in Hamilton County. Very powerful position, it sounds like. And I want to give you, as I said, we're kicking off more political conversations here locally. And we got Pavan on today. Somebody asked, are we going to speak with Wendy Cross? I plan on speaking with Miss Wendy Cross as well. And then I know we've got other shows like the Is It Just Me podcast. Donnie B, of course, is a lawyer. She's got an insight and expertise that I do not have as well. So I think that'll be very great conversations and interviews. Look forward to that. So she'll be back this Friday. Very interesting. That's the first time I got a chance to speak with Pavan. Wanted to get a sense of who he is as a person, get a general sense of the position, his why, get a sense of how he feels about some of the larger movements that are going on. But I regard that as the first to hopefully in a series of conversations before we get to the election in November. So stay tuned. We've got more political guests lined up for tomorrow and Friday as well, and I'm looking forward to it. Very, very interesting. Brian's in the house. He writes, good morning. Good to see you. What do you think about Pavan, everybody? What is your impression of Pavan? What do you think about his conversation, during the conversation, the interview? What do you think about, have you thought about probate judge? I think that in these days and times, black folks, anybody really needs to be challenging and asking ourselves, are we getting everything that we deserve from these various positions? Like a lot of folks probably even know about the probate judge being that powerful and being able to make those kind of decisions. I think there's a lot of positions like that here in Hamilton County that we just don't focus on, we're not aware of. I think all of the elected officials, all of the elected offices have some importance. I think they all do. Whether it's recorder or probate judge or you name it, Hamilton County Commissioner, I think it all matters. And I want to talk to all of the folks that are running, and we'll see what happens. But thank you for your time, Pavan. Appreciate it. Somebody did correct him in the brother in Wisconsin did not die. It's being reported that he's paralyzed, though, which is very, very sad. Got shot in front of his family. I gave it to you straight yesterday, how I felt about it. I mean, I think the officer was wrong. I think he was another example of Conan barbaric police officers. At the same time, I think as black men, we need to have a smart rule for engagement when we're dealing with police officers in these days and times. And from the video I saw, I would not be surprised if this officer is either not charged or if he is charged, is something that he ends up beating in court. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because clearly in the video, you see the officer, gun drawn, telling the man to stop. The guy walks away from him and then gets into the car. When you open the door or start to reach into a vehicle or any kind of backpack or something like that, in that kind of situation, then the people with the guns drawn on you, the way the rules are set up, it seems that they're fair to interpret that their life is in danger. And I don't, let me double check again this morning so I can give you precise information, but it was reported that they found a knife inside the car. If they found a knife inside the car, it's a wrap. What's unfortunate about it is I look at the Kenosha News, 2 people now confirmed dead after gunfire at the protest in Kenosha. So Jacob Blake was shot and paralyzed by a Kenosha police officer. And now 2 days later, 2 other people have lost their lives. And I would say, I've never been to Kenosha, Wisconsin, but I know people. And if the people in Kenosha, Wisconsin are hitting the streets, they tearing ish up, they protesting, they rioting, they're not doing that just because of Jacob Blake. They're doing that because Jacob Blake and his situation is just the straw that broke the camel's back. Just like here in Cincinnati, when ish started to pop off with Timothy Thomas, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it should be a wake-up call for the elected officials, for the power structure in Kenosha, to let them know that they have not been fair. They have not been delivering equity and justice for that community. Because if they were, then people wouldn't be in the streets. So 3 people were gunshot victims within the last 24 hours in Kenosha, just to give you an update. 2 people are confirmed to have died. A 3rd gunshot victim was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries, and police are trying to identify. And does this help or hurt the movement? Now, all of this is going to be connected to Black Lives Matter protesters. And it's going to be used by people in the media against the movement. Like, hey, these people are trying to tear Ish up. All you got to do is watch. If you watch 5 minutes of the RNC, right, throughout this week, they're politicizing it right now. The RNC is trying to make it seem like the Democrats are out there pulling the trigger themselves. They're saying straight up that if Joe Biden wins, then you're going to see more lawlessness in the streets. Is Joe Biden for lawlessness and looting and rioting? I don't think he is. But that's how the game is played, the big game of politics. When to give you a heads up on that. But again, before we roll, family, man, what was your thoughts on Pavin? What do you think? Are you aware of him and his campaign? What do you think about him as a possibility for probate judge? And again, I regard that as the first in a series of conversations. Good morning to you. Let me see. Maurice writes, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Ain't that the truth? Absolutely. Speaking of gunfights, we still do have room available. We've got a ride or die gun training coming up on September the 5th. That's the first Saturday in September. We've already got people who have signed up. They've made their deposit. I'm looking forward to getting on the range with you. The good folks at Ride or Die Training do a really good job. I got my CCW working with them. This is not a CCW class. This is the next step after you already have your CCW. Maybe you've had your CCW for some time, and you just want to get more proficient with your weapon. This is a great opportunity for you. We're going to go out on the range, the outdoor range, on September the 5th, and we're going to get tactical. And the invitation is still open to you. All right, I want to give you the details on this so that you know and can make your decision. Oh, okay. Oh, no problem. Probably just sent me a message on Facebook. Absolutely, man. Door's always open. I want to give you the details very quickly so you can decide as to whether you want to be involved. Again, the date is September the 5th. The time frame is 8 a.m. to 12 noon. The cost is $100, which is a greatly reduced cost for a class of this nature. The good folks at Ride or Die are asking for a $20 hold fee. That just reserves your spot. And you can send that to Nathan Ivey Show on Cash App and also on PayPal. And I will confirm with you. Again, 100% of all of this goes to them. I don't make a dime out of this. That's not why I'm doing it. The location is Waynesville, Ohio, specifically 6964 Township Line Road. That might be a little bit out for some folks. I want to make sure you get a heads up so you can do your due diligence. And again, we still have room available if you are interested. I'd love for you to be a part of that class. You need to be prepared. Also, while I'm here, Mystery History, we're playing the second part of that is up right now. You can win cash and learn about history. It's very, very simple. Just go over to my Facebook page, The Nathan Ivey Show. Listen to the clip. Tell me who you think it is. If it's correct, share it. So I need a correct answer and also share that post. And you could win $25. Then you have to listen to the Nathan Ivey Show on Monday at 9:05 a.m. to find out if you are the winner. So good luck, have fun, and learn something. It's Mystery History presented by the Nathan Ivey Show. And I can play this for you right now. And then you can go over to the page itself and then tell me what you think. Again, don't put it in the comments here. You must put it in the comments on the Nathan Ivey Show page, and also share it. So, and that will register you to possibly win. So I'm taking the first 40 people that give the correct answer, and it's really that simple. Mystery History. All right, let me go here. I posted it in the friends page and on my page first. Want to give the choppers first dibs at it, and you can tell me what you think. I'm not giving any clues out. Don't DM me anything like that. I'm not giving any clues out. That would be unfair. Oh, well, I can do it this way better. I'm doing things a little different this morning, so it's a little harder for me to run the audio the way I used to or usually do. Good morning to you. The people killed were poster and homeless man. Okay. The recent murders in Cincinnati in 1 week makes me think it's crooked cops killing people because of the defunding police talk. Anthony writes, that is one thing I've always liked about the DNC. They have a very powerful propaganda machine. Wish I could say the same about the Dems. You talking about the RNC? They do. They do. They got a real powerful propaganda machine. But again, you can say the same thing about all the political parties. I mean, it is what it is this morning. Let's be real here. We know what's going on. They're trying to get your votes. One party wants you to vote for the president, Donald Trump. The other party wants you to try something new, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We'll see what happens. That is about my time. Well, you know what? I wanted to get into Ice Cube this morning, but I don't want to go too far over 2 hours because I've got other things going on. So perhaps we'll push that off till tomorrow or perhaps Friday. I've got more political guests coming in tomorrow and Friday as well. These are people who are running for office in November. Information is power. And I want to make sure you are as informed as possible when you listen to this show. So I'll leave it like that. Why don't we run for these offices ourselves? Well, there are some black folks running for judge and other offices. Yeah, I agree with you, Maurice. Nothing wrong with that. People got to do it. I asked Parvin why he was running. He said he thought there were problems with the current, leadership. He thought he could do better. That's why he's running. We should do it. You should do it. If you feel like you qualified or you can give something to a political, then do it. Do it. People are doing it every single day. All you got to do is go through the proper necessary hoops, whatever that might be, the requirements, and do it. It's just that simple. Seek out the endorsement of whatever political party you feel like, most closely mirrors your own politics and make it happen. That's it. Listen, have an excellent rest of your day. I'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll chop it up on everything going on. Please like and share today's show, family. It means everything. And remember, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Stay focused and stay winning. And we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.